In one sentence, the whole audience was shocked. The consequence of retreating is to feed the zombies. The women were frightened in their hearts. In order not to be thrown out, in order to have a better life, in order not to become a tool to be played with casually, they fought hard. When Zhao Yanyan informed them before, she had already said that if she was unwilling to be a servant, she must be prepared to die or continue to be the lowest maid. Although the maid at the bottom can also be fed and clothed, who wants to be the bottom? Who wants to be called around at will? Who doesn't want to have a better life and step on other people's heads? They are fed up with the life at the bottom, living like a dog, being toyed with by those disgusting men just for a bite to eat. They are fed up with this kind of life. It is better to die than to live in this doomsday and suffer. The stimulated women rolled their eyes and rushed towards the electronic door with tang knives in their hands. They were not unarmed, they had knives in their hands, and the zombies were all blocked by the electronic door. If you didn't dare to do this, you might as well go back and wipe the floor. Puff puff. Chopping, stabbing and beheading. The women brandished sharp tang knives and aimed at the heads of the zombies. They had to fight for a better tomorrow. In order to become a master. For not being a maid. For a higher status, they fought hard. One by one, the women seemed to be going crazy, as if they were using these zombies as a punching bag to vent out the humiliation they had suffered during this period. Seeing these women struggling to kill the zombies, Lin Yuyu breathed a sigh of relief. Under the control of her mind, dozens of silver flying knives shot out. Behind the zombies, rows of zombies fell down like wheat. On the other side, Zhao Wanqing was holding a tang knife in her hand and slashing hard at the zombie in front of her. This tang knife was given to her by Lin Yuyu. Her expression now is very exciting. She discovered that every time she killed a zombie, there seemed to be a weak force pouring into her body from the handle of the knife, replenishing her depleted body. This discovery made her a little stunned, and then she was pleasantly surprised. She won't think this is an illusion. With Lin Fan transmitting knowledge first, and the two superhuman abilities, her ability to accept has been greatly enhanced. She even doubted whether Lin Yuyu's abilities were given by Lin Fan. Otherwise, why would their abilities be so similar? After all, Lin Fan has a precedent of instilling knowledge into them, so it is not impossible to give them such superpowers, right? Burying this suspicion in her heart, Zhao Wanqing stopped thinking about it. If this was really the case, then as long as she worked hard, sooner or later, she would be given this ability. With her appearance expected to recover quickly, Zhao Wanqing worked extra hard to kill the zombies, as if the zombies opposite her had a grudge against her for killing her father. Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki were also wielding tang knives, but unlike Zhao Wanqing, the tang knives in their hands were made by Lin Yuyu. After all, Lin Fan only gave them one tang knives. Lin Yuyu organized the girls to kill zombies, while Lin Fan's place was very lively. Ding! Lin Yuyu kills zombies +1, points +1, your magnetic control shared experience +1, current experience is 4,406 10,000ths. Ding! Lin Yuyu kills zombies +1, points +1, your magnetic control shared experience +1, current experience is 4,580 10,000ths. Ding! Zhao Wanqing kills zombies +1, your points +1 inch. Ding! Zhao Wanqing kills zombies +1, your points +1 inch. Ding! There were numerous notification sounds. Lin Fan, who was wandering around the villa here, was confused on the spot. Lin Yuyu killed the zombies in order to become stronger. This is understandable, but what is Zhao Wanqing's situation? Why is she killing zombies? And he actually still has points? Could it be that something happened at the hospital? Feeling uneasy, Lin Fan took out his mobile phone and called Lin Yuyu. Fortunately, the communication network was still intact and the satellites in the sky were really powerful. When the call was connected, Lin Fan asked, "Yuyu, something happened at the hospital?" If Lin Yuyu answered yes, he would go back immediately. At the hospital, after receiving a call from Lin Fan, Lin Yuyu was stunned for a moment and quickly replied, "Sir, the hospital is very safe." So what happened to Zhao Wanqing? Glancing at Zhao Wanqing who was killing zombies, Lin Yuyu didn't hide anything. "I let Zhao Wanqing use the tang knife you gave me. If you don't agree, I will take it back now." "It's okay. No need, just leave it like that. If there is any danger, Please notify me as soon as possible. Okay. Lord. When will you come back? At the villa, looking at the little loli who secretly hid the electric shock rod, Lin Fan raised his eyebrows and replied. Don't worry, I will go back at night. I can't sleep without holding you. Lin Yu, who was calmly killing zombies, had a blush on his face and felt a little hot all over. My lord, so is Yo-Yo. After hanging up the phone, Lin Fan walked to Su Xiaoluo and spread his hands. Hand over the stunner. Looking at Lin Fan's open palms, Su Xiaoluo's big eyes widened and she was dumbfounded. She obviously did it so secretly. How did this man see it? She was unwilling to give in. Taking out the electric shock device, Su Xiaoluo raised his little face and looked at Lin Fan pitifully. I said I didn't intend to shock you. Do you believe it? I believe it. I believe you, idiot. Seeing Lin Fan's expressionless expression, Su Xiaoluo was like a defeated little hen, and said frantically. Yes, I want to shock you, but I swear, I definitely didn't mean to harm you. The most I could do was tie you up and take care of you. You are different from those bad guys. I mean it, you have to believe me. Lin Fan believed what Su Xiaoluo said. After all, the system would not lie to him. Character. Su Xiaoluo strength, 7 agility, 8 intelligence, 15. Physique. 8 faith value, 71 ability. Number 71 points of faith value. Although it is not high, it will definitely not harm him. It will still kill him, so I tie him up and take care of him. This is basically true. I believe what you say, but why do you think that an electric shock device can hurt me? And even if you tied me up, didn't you think that I would escape immediately? Lin Fan was a little confused. What on earth was this little loli thinking? Doesn't she have a long memory? Su Xiaoluo tilted her head, with a look of confusion on her face, and then annoyance. She rolled her eyes. You are blind to this 15-point high. A lot of intelligence. So, you have no plan at all and you just want to call me? Looking at the cute Lolita in front of him, Lin Fan pressed the electric shock device, and then, under Su Xiaoluo's dull eyes, he clicked on the back of his hand. Zzzz. The electric light flickered and then calmed down. Su Xiaoluo blinked and was instantly confused. The electric shock device didn't work. This guy is definitely not human. Throwing down the electric shock device, Lin Fan opened his palms. Thunder light gathered in his palms and thunder exploded. Su Xiaoluo was startled and took a few steps back in fear. The lightning was so terrifying that she felt as if her hair was standing on end even from a distance of more than 1 meter. If the electricity was on my body, I'm afraid it would be gone on the spot. Tell me, are you stupid for using a stun baton on an electronic player? Me. Su Xiaoluo wrinkled her little face and looked extremely sad. Didn't we agree that since the founding of the People's Republic of China, we are not allowed to become a spirit? Lin Fan. I see you are so bold monster. Eat my mighty Tianlong. He raised his hand and slapped Su Xiaoluo on the forehead. Seeing her crying out in pain and holding her head, Lin Fan felt much better. Stop talking nonsense. How did you get here this month? It looks like you are not hungry. Where did you get so much food? Su Xiaoluo puffed up his face and opened the door next to him. Then Lin Fan was stunned. The room was like a small warehouse. Good guy, there were biscuits, potato chips, chocolates, and drinks. There are all kinds of things, piled up in the whole room. Are you running a supermarket at home? Or have you predicted the end of the world in advance? Damn it! Are you so worried about predicting the future? Looking at Lin Fan's strange eyes, Su Xiaoluo scratched his face and said, Don't look at me like that. Isn't he a designer? When there are design tasks, it will be very busy and time-consuming, so I always have a bunch of food at home, and then the end will come. I don't know. For this reason, there is really no one left. Shower, is it you? With a wave of your hand, everything in the room disappeared and was taken into your personal space. Now the empty personal space was filled up in an instant. You have to bring it with you anyway. Now that Su Xiaoluo is gone, there is no need to keep these things here. Here's my food. I have snacks. Wiping her eyes and looking at the room that was instantly empty, Su Xiaoluo was dumbfounded. Where are her snacks? Why were they all gone suddenly? I've taken all your things. Do you have anything else to take? What? Su Xiaoluo looked at Lin Fan blankly, still a little unable to react. What do you mean they took it all away? Where did they go? With a wave of his hand, the room was once again filled with snacks, and then again, all the snacks disappeared. Do you understand now? Bright. Understood. Su Xiaoluo nodded in despair, and went to pack his things in a daze. After walking a few steps, he suddenly realized what he was doing, and looked straight at Lin Fan with his big eyes. You still said you weren't a spirit? Ouch. Covering her forehead, Su Xiaoluo felt that her head was about to bulge. This man was so cruel. Hurry up and pack your things. Su Xiaoluo spat out his sweet tongue, not daring to provoke Lin Fan anymore. He ran out on his legs and quickly ran back with a bunch of things. Seeing Su Xiaoluo struggling to carry a bunch of bags, Lin Fan every question mark. Where did you get these fruits? How long has it been and these are still not broken? There are a bunch of peaches, strawberries, grapes and other fruits in the bag. The key is that they are still very fresh, which makes Lin Fan a little confused. It's been more than a month since the end of the world. Where did you get these fresh fruits? He didn't believe that Su Xiaoluo went out specifically to get these fruits. Speaking of which, the underground supermarket in Dahua commercial building seemed to sell fruits and vegetables, but there were too many zombies, and Lin Fan didn't have time to clean them up. Where did you get these fruits? Su Xiaoluo put down the bags in his hands and fanned the wind with his little hands. I planted these. I originally wanted to grow some vegetables, but found that I couldn't cook, so I gave up and only planted some fruits. What? Grow it yourself? Do you grow fruit at home? Which one are you in? Putting his hands on his hips, Su Xiaoluo said proudly. I have a garden. Fruit is grown in the garden. Good guy. Every inch of land in this magical city is precious. Why don't you just forget about the entire 3-story villa and even have a garden? Rich people are so disgusting. Take me to see. All the way to the garden at the back. Lin Fan took a look. It was really quite big. There were a lot of grapes growing on the grape trellis, as well as peach trees, and there were watermelon vines on the ground. They should have been planted earlier, and they are not small now. I guess they can all be eaten. Lin Fan looked at Su Xiaoluo next to him in surprise. He didn't expect that this girl would grow her own fruit. How about it? I grow these all by myself. They're pure green, natural and pollution-free. Awesome. Su Xiaoluo couldn't be more proud. Seeing Lin Fan in a daze, he felt a great sense of accomplishment. Nodding, Lin Fan had to admit that this little Lolita, oh no, legal Lolita does have a skill, and now it is he was thinking about how to put these peach trees and grape trellis back together. They are all ready-made. If he were to grow them himself, except for watermelons, the peach trees would probably take a year or two to eat peaches. Do you have the seeds of these fruits? You mentioned growing vegetables before. Do you have any vegetable seeds? Lin Fan has not forgotten why he came out. Isn't it just to find vegetable and fruit seeds? If he hadn't been waiting for a legal loli on the way, he would probably still be wandering around. Yep. Su Xiaoluo nodded. I still have a lot of seeds. I haven't planted any vegetables at all. I've been throwing them away since I bought them. Do you want them? Well, go get it. When Su Xiaoluo heard this, he turned around and ran towards the villa. Halfway through, he suddenly remembered. Why is she so obedient? She turned around and glared at Lin Fan's back. A good girl will not suffer the loss in front of her, for the sake of her head. It is better for her to give in. A man who can discharge electricity is too scary. Looking at the fruit trees in front of him, Lin Fan thought for a while, and the magnetic control ability spread, and he carefully controlled the magnetic ability to change the surrounding gravity field. Then it spread underground, protecting the root system, and holding it up with both hands. A fruit tree as thick as an adult's thigh rose up from the ground. Not only the root system, but also the soil where the roots were rooted, were all taken out by Lin Fan, and he took this thing back. They need to be planted, but they can't be killed. The rest of the fruits looked like gourds and gourds. When Su Xiaoluo came back with a big bag of seeds, his eyes glazed over as he looked at the garden full of big holes. Hearing the sound of footsteps, Lin Fan looking over, I saw a room full of snacks and prepared them, but what's going on with your big bag of various seeds? Do you always buy things based on your car? Why so many? Su Xiaoluo came back to his senses and asked doubtfully. Is there something wrong? This thing is so cheap. Just buy more and save money before running away. Okay. What you said makes sense. You Why did you dig up all these fruit trees? How did you do that? Looking curiously at the fruit trees that were dug out and put together, Su Xiaoluo looked left and right, not to mention curious. Finally, her eyes turned back to Lin Fan. She thought this man was so mysterious. He could discharge electricity and also he could take away so many snacks from her with a wave of his hand, and now he even dug out these fruit trees in the soil together. How did he do it? He took the bag in Su Xiaoluo's hand and threw it into his personal space. Lin Fan felt this time it came out really well. Not only did I get the seeds, but I also picked up a legal loli for free. This legal loli is also very capable. I estimate that in the future, we will rely on this legal loli in construction. Go and take out all your things. It's getting late. I'll take you to my place. When Su Xiaoluo heard this, her eyes moved slightly, but without saying anything, she lowered her head and walked back to the villa. She was about to leave here and go to a place she was unfamiliar with. The only person she could rely on was Lin Fan, who looked at her and looked at her. He was not a bad man, and he was even a somewhat conniving man. She could feel that Lin Fan was very tolerant to her, and he was different from the scary men on the internet. Su put all her little dresses and other things into the suitcase with great concern. Xiao Luo walked out of the villa with his head lowered. He could feel Su Xiaoluo's frustration. Lin Fan bent down and held her little face. Looking at her delicate face, Lin Fan said softly, "Don't leave. Worry, as long as I am here, no one will bully you." With Su Xiaoluo, the legal Lolita, flying in the air, and a bunch of fruit trees floating behind him, Lin Fan figured out the direction and flew towards the hospital. Holding Lin Fan's arm, Su Xiaoluo looked down at the rapidly retreating ground beneath his feet, his big eyes filled with incredible light. She is actually flying. This is simply amazing. This is not comparable to flying. The feeling of flying was very wonderful. Su Xiaoluo looked around with her little head, and the strong wind that hit her face was blocked. She didn't feel any discomfort at all. This feeling was really great. Looking up at Lin Fan's side face, the man looked very focused. Su Xiaoluo was curious. Where did Lin Fan get these abilities? What else could he do? In Su Xiaoluo's eyes, Lin Fan was really full of incredible and miracles. Lin Fan was also very surprised. Su Xiaoluo looked around and kept moving. Then, he felt the arm being held. Wearing Lolita doesn't look too revealing, but at this size, it's really 32D. I have to say that the living conditions are good and the nutrition is really rich. The two of them had different thoughts and flew across the sky in a swagger. It was daytime now. Although the sun was about to set, it was still daytime. Forget it if it's just the two of them. There are a bunch of fruit trees flying behind. The target is really too big. On the ground, someone soon spotted the two people flying in the sky, and they were all stunned. What the hell? Why are there people flying in the sky? The survivors who discovered this situation took out their mobile phones to take pictures. There were even dedicated photography enthusiasts who took out special equipment and took pictures of Lin Fan and Lin Fan in the sky. Bai Hao is such a photography enthusiast. He was lying dead in the gathering place when he suddenly heard people shouting and pointing and looking outside, or taking out his mobile phone to take pictures wildly. He thought that the army was coming to rescue him, but at first glance, he was confused. Damn it, what is that thing flying in the sky? Fruit trees? Grass? The fruit tree has become a spirit. Wrong. What's that thing in front of? People? After Bai Hao saw it clearly, his whole person had an expression like, "You're fucking kidding me. Good guy, the end is coming. Will everyone fly?" Immediately, he realized that this was a big deal. At this time, he didn't care about anything else. He quickly took out his long spear and short cannon, and started shooting at the sky until he could no longer see it. After taking these explosive photos, Bai Hao directly uploaded them to the internet. When he turned on his computer, he found that this kind of news had already been published, and there were quite a lot of them. However, the pictures taken were very unclear. At first glance, they were taken with a mobile phone. The pixels are very stretched. Bai Hao thought about it and uploaded the photos directly to the internet, and gave a catchy title. The end is coming. Can we mortals also become immortals and gods? Today I was lucky enough to see a big man flying across the sky. I want to ask, when will I be able to go to heaven too? The eye-catching title, coupled with the clear photos, instantly detonated the internet. It was like a meteorite falling from the sky and hitting the sea directly, causing thousands of waves. For a while, I don't know how many survivors responded to the post. At the same time, this post has also been noticed by many interested people. Major survivor forces, officials, and the military are all analyzing the authenticity of the photos. Lin Fan does not know this. At this time, he has returned to the hospital with Su Xiaoluo. Lin Fan, after returning, all the women on the ground saw it. They had long seen how powerful Lin Fan was, and they were not too shocked now. They only looked at Su Xiaoluo with envy in his eyes. In their opinion, Su Xiaoluo will be their life must be very good. She is so beautiful and is born to stand at a height that they cannot reach. They don't dare to compare. They know in their hearts that if Lin Fan looks down on them, they are not worthy. They just keep to themselves and be warriors. At least he has a higher status than the maids, right? After landing on the ground and watching the girls killing zombies, Lin Fan quickly understood what was going on. There were more zombies. It was like he was attracted by something. No. He stopped and approached the hospital. Lin Fan had discovered this situation when he was in the Dahua commercial building. At the same time, he still had some guesses in his mind. Now the facts have confirmed his guess. The zombies are chasing the scent of living people and gathering together. I'm afraid it won't take long for it to become like the Dahua commercial building. It may be because there are not as many people in the hospital as there are in the Dahua commercial building, so the speed and quantity of zombies gathering are much different. However, the electronic doors and fences of the hospital will block them sooner or later. If these zombies cannot be contained, it is necessary to do some protection work next. There will be more and more survivors here in the future. If we don't build the defenses well, the zombies may one day break through the defenses. I'm afraid I'll be very busy next time. Lord, you are back. Lin Yu walked over from a distance. Her eyes swept over Su Xiaoluo, and then quickly turned to Lin Fan. Did you arrange all of this? Lin Fan asked, pointing to the women struggling to kill the zombies by the electronic gate and the fence. Lin Yu looked at the women who were working hard to kill the zombies and nodded. There are more and more zombies, and I'm worried about the electronic gate. After being damaged, I arranged for them to kill the zombies. I promised them that those who dare to fight the zombies will have a higher status than the maids. They will not have to do those chores and will be paid better, just like soldiers. Lord, these are all arrangements made by me without authorization. You can punish me. Take Lin Yu's hand and hold her into his arms, embracing each other affectionately. Smelling the delicious fragrance of Lin Yu, Lin Fan patted her back and said reproachfully, "You did a good job. Why should I want to punish you? I will go out often in the future, and I will have to rely on you to support my family from now on. Don't think about it. I won't blame you for bypassing me and making decisions without permission. Be confident, you are great in every way." After saying that, Lin Fan pushed Lin Yu away, lowered his head and kissed her. Su Xiaoluo next to her looked at Lin Yu blankly, and then at herself. Lin Yu had fair skin, good looks, long hair, and managed things in an orderly manner. It seems that she is the eldest sister here. What about her? Apart from being more beautiful, she seems to be incomparable in any way. Su Xiaoluo always felt a sense of crisis in his heart. What should I do if my first love is about to fall out of love before it even begins? Holding Lin Yu's slender waist and looking at the group of women who were struggling to kill zombies, Lin Fan counted and found that there were 16 people, not including Zhao Wanqing and the other 3. He raised his arms, put his palms together, and pinched his thumb and middle finger gently. The crisp sound spread. In an instant, zombie heads within a kilometer radius exploded one after another, like a bloody feast, with splatters everywhere in the air. Bloody flower. Ding. Killing zombies +1, points +1, magnetic control experience +1. Current experience is 4,906 10,000ths. Ding. Ding. Killing zombies +1, points +1, magnetic control experience +1. Current experience is 5,509 10,000ths. The pungent stench rose into the sky, and the girls who were slashing at the zombies with their swords were stunned. The scene in front of them was really shocking. The heads of the zombies within a radius of 1 kilometer exploded. This scene was so shocking. All the girls turned around and looked at Lin Fan, snapping their fingers loudly. They knew in their hearts that this man was the only one who could achieve such a terrifying scene. Although they had already thought of Lin Fan as extremely terrifying, the scene in front of them still refreshed their minds, their understanding. With a snap of their fingers, thousands of zombie heads exploded instantly. How terrifying is this? If zombies do this, will they do the same? They don't think that their heads are any tougher than zombies? Looking at this scene, these women were even more frightened and loyal. They did not dare to have any bad thoughts and were full of awe, fear and almost fanatical worship of Lin Fan. This was their future master. Even though they could not be his woman, they were not even qualified for a night of love, but they felt extremely happy and at ease to have such a powerful master. Looking at these women with awe in their eyes, Lin Fan asked in his heart, "System, I gave Tang Dao to they. The power they gained through Tang Dao, can I take it back at any time?" "Lord, you can take back anything you have given me, including the power gained through these props. Without you, these people are nothing." The system answered this, and Lin Fan felt relieved. These women in front of him are ordinary people. Their physical strength and various qualities are also average. They are not even as good as adult men. As warriors, they are undoubtedly unqualified. With the system's products with weapons, these women can continue to become stronger, at the cost of constantly killing zombies. This is exactly what Lin Fan wants. There are endless zombies to kill, and these women are machines to earn points, and at the same time, they can why not make them stronger? All he paid was the initial 10 points. It doesn't matter if he betrays, he can take his power back at any time, and the betrayed woman will taste the bitter consequences. With protection, Lin Fan felt relieved and immediately said, "You don't want to be the lowest maid, but you dare to stand up and fight for your life against zombies. I see your efforts and recognize your identity as a warrior. In order to reward you, I decided to give you strength." As he spoke, Lin Fan waved his hand, and 16 tang knives flew in front of these women. Similarly, 2 more flew in front of Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki. "Pick up the Tang Dao in front of you. My power resides in these weapons. Use these weapons to kill zombies, and you will gain part of my power. The more zombies you kill, the more this knife will give you. The power that belongs to me will make you stronger." As soon as the words fell, the breathing of the dozen maids on the scene became rapid. What did they hear? The weapon in front of them actually contains the power belonging to Lin Fan. As long as you kill the zombies with the Tang knife in front of you, you can get Lin Fan's power. What strength remains within? How incredible is this? Among these women, Zhao Wanqing feels it most clearly. Because the Tang Dao she was holding came from Lin Fan. Lin Yuyu gave it to her in order to restore her appearance as soon as possible. At first, she was a little skeptical, but when she killed the first when it comes to zombies, this suspicion is instantly dissipated. That slight warm current, although rare, was real. After killing more than a dozen zombies in a row, the skin on her arms had improved a lot. She didn't have a mirror in her hand, but it could be seen from the surprised expressions of Zhao Yanyan and the others. Her face must have recovered a lot. After seeing the changes in Zhao Wanqing, Zhao Yanyan was the first to recover from the shock. She quickly picked up the Tang Dao in front of her and warmed her hands. It seemed as if a warm current flowed down her arms and spread throughout her body. After that, she was shocked. Just now the fatigue of killing zombies has become less intense. As Zhao Yanyan picked up the Tang Dao, the women who had come back to their senses also picked up the Tang Dao. The moment they took it, the women's eyes lit up, obviously feeling the strange power. At the same time, I am even more convinced. Having a clear view of the expressions of these women, Lin Fan pulled Lin Yuyu to him and said, "From today on, Lin Yuyu will be your direct supervisor. You all follow her orders. It's getting late now, so go back first. Next, you will take turns to keep vigil to prevent zombies from attacking the guardrails. Lin Yu will be responsible for you in terms of how to rotate. Arrangement, do you understand?" The women naturally didn't dare to have any opinions and nodded one after another. "Lord, we understand. Okay, let's all go back to rest and eat. You will be very hard at night." Lin Fan waved his hand and dismissed the maids in front of him. The 16 maids bowed respectfully, holding Tang Dao tightly in their arms with excitement. This was their hope to become stronger. If there was no order, plus all the zombies outside have been wiped out, and now they all want to kill zombies to gain the power to become stronger. As for eating, what is that? What if they are hungry for a meal or two? You, these women have taken all the trouble for you. Just watch and make arrangements. I will plant these fruit trees and the like. By the way, I will give you these seeds and you will also make arrangements for them. Take out the bag of vegetable and fruit seeds and hand it to Lin Yu. Lin Fan waved to Zhao Wanqing in the distance. Wanqing, come here. Zhao Wanqing stepped forward quickly. Lin Fan glanced at it casually and was a little stunned. Why did Zhao Wanqing suddenly become so beautiful after not seeing him for a long time? Lin Fan almost wondered if there was something wrong with his eyes. As for Zhao Wanqing, Lin Fan looking at her in a daze. The surprise in her eyes was so obvious. The surprise in Zhao Wanqing's heart was beyond words. Lord, do you have any instructions? After coming back to his senses, Lin Fan pulled Su Xiaoluo, pointed at her and said, "She is Su Xiaoluo. You take her back to find a room to settle down. Don't neglect her." Zhao Wanqing took a deep look at Su Xiaoluo, and the sense of crisis in her heart became stronger. For such a small and beautiful Lolita, and being so valued, her position as the second in the palace is in jeopardy. Yes, Lord, I will make arrangements right away. Zhao Wanqing leaned forward, raised her hand to take Su Xiaoluo's little hand, and said with a smile, "Little sister, let's go, I will show you the room." Zhao Wanqing has decided that she will kill zombies even if she doesn't sleep at night. She must restore her appearance tomorrow. If she continues like this, she will go crazy. How can there be so many beautiful and threatening women in this world? Several women have come one after another. After walking away, Lin Fan took various fruit trees, found a suitable place in the hospital, and planted them all. After finishing, Lin Fan clapped his hands when he looked at his masterpiece. Perfect. This is there will be fresh fruits to eat next. As for the vegetables, we have to wait a little longer. We can't rush this, but we have to put Lin Yu on the schedule as soon as possible. Let's start planting tomorrow. As for the farm tools, with a wave of his hand, they were discarded before. More than a dozen tang knives disintegrated one after another, and then turned into various farm tools. Done. I'm such a genius. After putting all the farm tools away, Lin Fan turned around and walked back to the supermarket at a leisurely pace. By the time Lin Fan returned to the supermarket, it was completely dark. When he walked up to the second floor, he was looking at Tang with a darling look. Li Siki, the swordsman, quickly ran over and imitated Zhao Wanqing, kneeling on the ground to change Lin Fan's shoes. Lord, do you want to take a bath? Wanqing is cooking. It should be ready to eat after washing. Standing up, Li Siki looked at Lin Fan cutely, with a faint glimmer of water in her eyes. Okay. Where is Yan Yan? Yan Yan is at Qingxing's side. Qingxing's fever has almost gone away, and the injection given by Master Yu is very effective. Hold Lin Fan's arm and walk to the bathroom, Li Siki explained softly. After about an hour, Lin Fan walked out with his arms around the tired Li Siki. The cute girl next door worked very hard, and it was hard for Lin Fan to refuse. The price is now I feel a little shaky when I walk. At the dinner table, looking at the table full of food, Lin Fan had a question mark on his head. He even suspected that he wanted to eat vegetables so much that he was hallucinating. Where does this food come from? Where did this meat come from? Zhao Wanqing is very excited now, so excited that she can hardly sit still. After arranging a room for Su Xiaoluo, she immediately went to look in the mirror, and then she got a huge surprise. The appearance suddenly recovered by 1/3. Originally, I had been hungry for a month, and my face was sallow and thin. Now my face is much more symmetrical and not so yellow. It has turned into a smooth face. This is all the effect of killing zombies in the afternoon. Such a big surprise kept the smile on Zhao Wanqing's face until now. Seeing Lin Fan's surprised look, Zhao Wanqing felt happy. These were all the results of her hard work. Although she didn't bring the vegetables and meat back, Lin Yu wouldn't have been able to find them without her searching, right? Lord, these are what Lord Yo-Yo brought back. They're the surprises I told you about this afternoon. Zhao Wanqing is not greedy for merit. She doesn't want to harm Lin Yu's relationship. When Lin Fan heard this, he looked at Lin Yu and said, "What's going on? Where did you find these things?" Lin Yu smiled slightly and glanced at Zhao Wanqing. Actually, all of this cannot be blamed on me. Wanqing knew that you wanted to eat vegetables, so she searched online for a long time before she found the hospital canteen, and then told me the location. Fortunately, these are still in the freezer and haven't gone bad yet. Everyone carried the sedan chair, but Lin Yu didn't take all the credit. In just a few words, he showed the importance of Zhao Wanqing, and specifically pointed out how good Zhao Wanqing was. Lin Fan didn't expect that things would be so twists and turns, and he looked at it in surprise. Looking at Zhao Wanqing, he didn't know if it was an illusion, but he felt that Zhao Wanqing was becoming more pleasing to his eyes. Well, Wanqing is interested. What reward do you want this time? Zhao Wanqing's heart skipped a beat, and she suppressed the surprise in her heart. Now was not the time for rewards, she had to hold her nerve. My lord, Wanqing is still the same as last time. I will take note of it first and ask you for it when I need it. Is it okay? Although Lin Fan didn't know what Zhao Wanqing was planning, he didn't refuse. That's okay. You can talk to me then. Let's eat now. As the head of the family, Lin Fan did not move his chopsticks. None of the girls at the dinner table dared to move first. Now that Lin Fan said it was time to start eating, the girls picked up their chopsticks to eat. Su Xiaoluo even cheered. Ji Yuling the monster's big eyes were almost glowing green. After eating snacks for a month, Su Xiaoluo almost didn't know what rice tasted like anymore. No matter how delicious the snacks were, they were not rice. Mu Yuqing, whose fever had subsided, finally walked out. After entering the room, Lin Fan took one look and paid no more attention. Just as he thought, being able to get together with Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki, Mu Yuqing naturally has her advantages. Long straight black hair, curved eyebrows, the beautiful eyes are as clear as water, exuding an intellectual temperament, calm and natural, unhurried and slow. The woman cannot escape from the palm of his hand, and he does not need to keep staring at her like he has never seen a woman before. If he wants to, he will come back after dinner. You can watch whatever you want in the room. Seeing that Lin Fan just glanced at her and ignored her, Mu Yuqing felt a little panicked. If it weren't for the wrong time, she would have asked Zhao Yanyan next to her if Lin Fan had any objections to her. After all, she had just been brought back and had been the eldest lady in the house for a few days. It was normal for Lin Fan to feel dissatisfied. What was her identity? She was not a highly sought-after goddess in her previous life, but a low-status maid who served in dressing and washing. The maid. Feeling uneasy, Mu Yuqing couldn't eat and began to worry about gains and losses. Zhao Yanyan soon noticed something was wrong with her best friend, and quietly lowered her head and asked, "Qing, what's wrong with you?" Mu Yuqing glanced at Lin Fan nervously, and seeing that he wasn't paying attention, she whispered, "Yanyan, does the Lord dislike me and have any objections to me? He just glanced at me and ignored me." It suddenly dawned on Zhao Yanyan that her best friend was worried about her feelings. She comforted her immediately. "Don't worry, that's how the Lord is. In the Lord's heart, you are just the food on the plate. You can eat it whenever you want. It depends on your mood, right? Your Majesty wants to see it. Go back to your room, and where can I not see it?" Mu Yuqing blushed and said, That's it, eat quickly, otherwise you may faint from exhaustion at night." When Mu Yuqing heard this, she panicked and didn't dare to think too much. She took a big mouthful of vegetables and stuffed it into the bowl. Zhao Yanyan and the others had explained before that Lin Fan was very powerful, and Cici was helped out just now. After dinner, Lin Fan walked to the sofa and sat down to start cooking. Zhao Wanqing was clearing the table. Lin Yu had already gone to the dormitory. She had to make arrangements for her evening duty. Not long after she sat down, Su Xiaoluo he ran over with Shangfeng and a pile of A4 paper in his hand. "I'm ready. Tell me, what do you want the hospital to look like?" Before eating, Lin Fan mentioned to Su Xiaoluo that he wanted to renovate the hospital and turn it into a base camp. As more and more survivors gather in the hospital, it is foreseeable that more and more zombies will gather there. A strong fortress is very necessary. Moreover, what does it look like to stay in the hospital all the time? Isn't it too shameless? Now that we have Su Xiaoluo, a great architectural designer, we don't need to use it in vain. Besides, the design drawing is not that easy to draw, and it won't come out at all within a month or two. Not to mention Lin Fan's dissatisfaction. If the drawing is not good, Su Xiaoluo, as a great designer, will feel unable to do it. This matter should be done as early as possible. It's not too late. Maybe a month will have passed by the time Su Xiaoluo draws a satisfactory design. Looking at Su Xiaoluo with a serious look on his face, Lin Fan thought for a while and said, I don't know anything about this aspect. I'm not good at it, but one requirement is that there should be walls around it. This can resist corpses. Increase the protection capability. The city wall must be able to stand people, and you need to design the interior. When the time comes, you can make a drawing and show it to me as a film. In the early stage, you don't have to worry too much. As the power grows, it will definitely need to be expanded and renovated in the future. That's it, you can figure it out. Su Xiaoluo blinked her big eyes, pointed the pencil on her little face, and thought silently. Seeing this situation, Lin Fan didn't say anything anymore, for fear of accidentally interrupting her train of thought. She stood up quietly, and Lin Fan came outside. After a while, they arrived at the entrance of the hospital. Looking at the large number of corpses lying on the ground, Lin Fan raised his hand and all the corpses within the control range of the magnetic force flew up. He waved his hand gently, and thousands of corpses fell into the air. A corpse flew out like a cannonball. These corpses cannot be left near the hospital. If there are too many zombies, subsequent zombies may simply step on the corpses and roll into the school. This is a huge hidden danger. After all this, Lin Fan walked around the fence of the hospital, and his frown relaxed a lot. After his cleaning in the evening, the number of zombies around him was much smaller. If he cleaned up diligently, there shouldn't be any big problems. Check the surrounding area after it was safe. Lin Fan exchanged 4 more headlights from the system mall and flew up to the central building of the hospital. Lin Fan fiddled with them and powered on the 4 headlights. In an instant, the dazzling white light illuminated the entire campus. Even the area near the hospital is brightly illuminated. Zombies at night are very violent, much more ferocious than during the day. Human beings are no match for zombies when there is insufficient light at night. It is very likely that the boat will capsize in the gutter. The maid is also a human being. Not to mention giving him points. Lin Fan was not going to let them die casually. After arranging all this, Lin Fan was about to go back when he saw 9 figures coming out of the dormitory from a distance, walking at the front. It was clearly Lin Yu, followed by 8 women with tang knives and excited faces. It was obvious that these 8 women were on duty in the first half of the night. The group of 9 people moved very quickly, and Lin Fan followed them, finally stopping at the gate of the hospital. On the ground, Lin Yu turned around and looked at the 8 women with excited expressions. Her cold eyes swept over them, and the 8 women calmed down in an instant. Tonight, there are 2 of you in a team, and each team is responsible for one direction. It is now 8 o'clock in the evening. At 2 o'clock in the morning, the second team will come to change shifts with you until 8 o'clock in the morning. The cycle continues. Do you understand? All the girls nodded in unison and said loudly, Understood. Here, I warn each of you, don't rush outside the hospital just thinking about killing more zombies. Then even if you die, no one will care about you. Only by living can you become stronger. The dead have no future. Lin Yu's voice was cold, which made all the girls shiver. You can take care of your own business, so just leave. The 8 women responded in unison, and then dispersed, 2 in a team, 1 person responsible for one side. Standing upstairs, watching this scene, Lin Fan nodded and quickly left the roof. He had just returned to the supermarket, happened to bump into Zhao Wanqing who was coming out with Tang Dao. Lin Fan was stunned for a moment, but did not stop him. Zhao Wanqing had the intention to become stronger, which was a good thing. However, Zhao Wanqing was a little unnatural, and she bumped into Lin Fan head-on. Zhao Wanqing I saluted quickly, but I didn't know what to say. Just go ahead and don't work too hard. I expect you to cook in the morning. Waving his hand, Lin Fan didn't make it difficult for her and walked into the supermarket with a smile. Zhao Wanqing breathed a sigh of relief and clenched the Tang Dao in her hand. She was ready. She will not sleep until she regains her appearance today. Walking up to the 2nd floor, looking at Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki walking around, Lin Fan was a little confused. What happened to these 2 people? Mu Yuqing on the side saw Lin Fan, ran over quickly, knelt on the ground to change Lin Fan's shoes. These were just what Zhao Yanyan and the others called her. He also taught a lot of other things. Lin Fan was used to this. Pointing at the restless 2 women, Lin Fan asked, What's wrong with them? Got a bad stomach? Mu Yuqing stood up, gathered her long hair around her ears, and said softly, My lord, The two of them wanted to kill zombies. They said they could become stronger, but they still had to serve the Lord, and then it became like this. Lin Fan suddenly understood and walked into the living room. At this time, Zhao Yanyan and Zhao Yanyan, who were in a hurry, noticed that Lin Fan had come in. In an instant, they acted as honestly as a little sheep. Stop pretending. Go if you want and be back before 10 o'clock. Poof. After stabbing a zombie's head through the fence, Zhao Wanqing felt the warmth pouring into her body from the handle of the knife. A smile appeared on Zhao Wanqing's face. 13 of them. From the time she came out to now, in just a few minutes, she has killed 13 zombies. Protected by the fence, she only needs to raise the tang knife in her hand and stab it straight out, so that she can be strengthened. Restore her appearance. In front of us, Zhao Wanqing cannot help but work hard, not to mention that killing zombies can also improve her strength. What is most important in the apocalypse? The first thing is strength. With enough strength, food, rights, and women are all at your fingertips. The end of not having strength is reduced to a toy or a ration for zombies. Finally, he had the opportunity to become stronger. How could Zhao Wanqing let it go? Not to mention, if he wants to secure the second position in the main palace, he has no strength to do it. What if he is not strong enough? Can you suppress those women who covet the second position in the palace? So cool, I feel like I'm getting stronger again. Me too. This feeling of becoming stronger is really addictive. The Lord is so strong and great. You say, Lord, is he God? Not far from Zhao Wanqing, two women holding tang knives and struggling to kill zombies exclaimed, their words full of joy and admiration. Of course the Lord is God. Without the Lord, we would still be living like dogs. The Lord is like a God, descending from the sky and saving us. He is God in my heart. Right. The Lord is God. Without the Lord, we would be worse off than dead. How could we have the free life we have now? The Lord is the God in my heart, and there is no room for refutation. The two female warriors' eyes were wild, and they had obviously fallen into some kind of self-hypnosis mode. They deified Lin Fan infinitely in their hearts. It can be predicted that if things go on like this, the two self-brainwashed women will not do anything even if Lin Fan asks them to die. He rushed into the group of corpses without hesitation. Listening to the voice coming from the left, Zhao Wanqing couldn't help but smile. Is Lin Fan a god? Obviously, no, but to them, he is no different from a god. God-like strength can save them from desperate situations. This is much more real than those illusory gods. Not to mention, the kind of power that can be given is really a god-like method. If Lin Fan is a god, then what are they? Lin Yu should be an envoy of the gods, right? Apostles of the gods, exercising the power of the gods. She feels more and more that Lin Yu's abilities were given by Lin Fan, the master, and she must work hard. Not only for the sake of being the second in the palace, but also to obtain the qualification to exercise divine power. Now being the second in the palace is no longer the ultimate goal. Restoring her appearance is just around the corner. With two rewards in hand, she believes that the position of the second in the palace is already beckoning to her. The goal of the next stage is to obtain the qualifications for Lin Fan to bestow divine power. Die. With firm eyes, looking at the zombies that kept hitting the fence, Zhao Wanqing stabbed out the tang knife in her hand. Blood spattered, and the zombie fell to the ground with its head stabbed through. Zhao Wanqing kept moving, waving the sword in her hand again and again. Tang Dao. In other directions, the expressions of several female warriors were almost the same as those of the two women on Zhao Wanqing's side. They were killing the zombies approaching with feverish eyes. Similarly, the figures of the three Zhao Yanyan women were also active in various areas. They looked excited after receiving the approval. Although they were asked to go back before 10 o'clock, they were excited enough. The three of them even agreed. Starting from tomorrow, 3 people will come out in shifts, and 1 person must stay in the supermarket to serve. Lin Fan goes back from time to time, and the remaining 2 people are outside killing zombies to improve their strength. They also have pursuits, and they don't want to be a pretty vase. What's the use of just serving Lin Fan as their master every day? Sooner or later, they will be killed by the newcomers. Instead, they will make beautiful and capable vases. Anyone with brains and unwillingness to degenerate will choose this way. On the second floor of the supermarket, all the women were thrown out, and the supermarket became quiet in an instant, with only Lin left. Fan and Lin Yu were at home. Listening to the endless point reminders in his mind, Lin Fan had a big smile on his face. This feeling of increasing points while sitting was indeed very comfortable. Lord, don't be in a daze, I'm going to be beaten to death. Leaning on Lin Fan's shoulder, Lin Yu exclaimed, hurriedly controlling the characters on the phone, surrounded by dangers, and screaming again and again. Lin Fan came back to his senses and looked at Lin Yu, who was raped and killed by 4 people under the tower. Kill the red buff with 1 punishment and quickly catch up to the bottom lane. Watch me avenge you. It's the end of the world, and the internet is not disconnected. You can still play the mobile game Pesticide. Not to mention, it's the end of the world. There are still a lot of people in the game. Survivors can't get out because they are surrounded by zombies, so they can hide in it. Are you playing Pesticide and other mobile games at home? Lin Fan was having fun, but little did he know that because the internet was not disconnected, the internet was already blowing up because of him. On the forum, Buy House post has been directly pushed to the top of the hot search, reaching tens of millions and nearly billions, which is terrifying. You know, before the end of the world, some superstars did not have this kind of treatment. Even if they were ranked number 1 in the trending search, with tens of millions of hits, they were already very popular. But now, the popularity of Buy House posts has skyrocketed, heading straight for over 100 million. The end is coming. Can we mortals also become immortals and gods? Today I was lucky enough to see a big man flying across the sky. I want to ask, when will I be able to go to heaven too? The eye-catching title, as well as the accompanying pictures and clear video below, directly detonated the entire internet. Countless people came to watch, and the number of comments reached tens of millions. Shocked. Didn't we say that after the founding of the People's Republic of China, people would not be allowed to become spirits? What the hell is this? Are you a fool? Since the founding of the People's Republic of China, achievements have not been allowed, and there is no such thing as not being allowed to become an immortal. This boss has become an immortal. The front row is inhaling the fairy spirit of the boss. Like the original poster, I also want to ask, when can I go to heaven? Does the boss take apprentices? I have a sincere heart and want to become an immortal. I want to ask, when will the immortals come to save me? The country cannot count on them. Can the immortals save me? The gods are so handsome. I am in XX community in XX city. This is my first time. Can the gods come and save me? I can be a cow or a horse. I can make a bed and fold the quilt. This is my photo, there is no trace of PS. Haha. Is it your turn? The gods are here to save me. I am at 4x. This is my photo. I am more beautiful than the one upstairs. This is also my first time. Can you please save me? Is this the goddess? The playthings of the rich before the apocalypse, the licking dogs of the immortals after the apocalypse. Tisk tisk. When will we honest people stand up? Shivering, also ask, do gods like men? Tens of millions of comments are densely packed, and without exception, they all want to be rescued by gods, or want to cultivate immortality. Of course, there are also some lemon essences, double standard parties to show their presence, and slap on the big hat. No need to go to extremes. Unlike these troll netizens, the pictures and videos in this post have also attracted the attention of major military regions and officials. In the inner city where the empire has not yet fallen, all the surviving high-level national officials gathered at the Imperial Capital Conference Center. Zhao Jian, the director of the National Security Bureau whom Lin Yu had contacted, was pointing his baton at the figures in the picture. The picture was very clear, and the 2 figures in it were clearly Lin Fan and Su Xiaoluo. Since the end of January, the whole country has fallen. After careful census, no special cases of superpowers have been found. There is no such news circulating on the internet at all. But just this afternoon, this video detonated the entire internet. Zhao Jian looked serious and tapped the picture on the screen with his baton. After IP tracking, our people located the location of the video publisher, which is in Magic City. In other words, the 2 people in the video are active in Magic City. Coincidentally, a few days ago, I also watched a message arrived. As he spoke, Zhao Jian gestured to the man next to him. The man nodded respectfully and brought up a dialogue box. Pointing to the content in the dialogue box, Zhao Jian said, "A few days ago, the name I was talking to a woman named Lin Yu once posted a message asking, "Are there any superpowers in this world?" Later she was evasive and I just thought she was a delusional patient. But unfortunately, when I saw this video, I screened it and located the location of this lady. I found that she was also in the Magic City. I had to suspect that between the two, is there any connection? After Zhao Jian finished speaking, the conference room fell into silence. Soon, an old man spoke. "This is all your guess. What we need now is the position of these two people. At the same time, we also need their strength. Yes, the two people in the video must be found as soon as possible, recruited in the name of the country, let them service and restore the country's dominance." Before the second senior executive finished speaking, the third senior executive soon spoke, knocked on the conference table, and said excitedly, "We can even use the two of them to establish unparalleled achievements in the end of the world, throughout Europe, Asia, and even America. Will all be our territory." No, not only that, have you ever thought about it? If we can crack the power of the two of them, then can we also fly freely in the sky and have unrivaled power in mythology? Even eternal life. After the word eternal life fell, the entire conference room fell silent. After a long time, the old man sitting at the head took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, "Go ahead and find these two people as quickly as possible, no matter what means are used. Also want to bring them back. In addition, notify the Lu family, the warlord of the Demon City, and ask them to cooperate." When Zhao Jian heard this, he looked embarrassed. Half a month after the end of the world, the major warlords have basically listened to the instructions and refused to listen to the propaganda, and they have the intention to support their troops and respect themselves. Maybe the command can't move. The old man at the head twitched his horns. He almost forgot about this matter. Then send people from the imperial capital military region over as quickly as possible. Bai Hao's post set off the entire internet. Not only the imperial capital paid attention to it, but also the generals in the major military regions who were ambitious and wanted to support their troops and respect themselves. Who doesn't want to have extraordinary power? Among them, the Lu family, the warlord of the Demon City, is the most powerful. The Lu family, the warlord of the Demon City, is located in the suburbs. There are as many as 300,000 soldiers stationed in the military area. As the city at the forefront of the world, it is highly valued by the empire. All kinds of weapons and equipment can be said to be the most advanced in the empire. Lu Yuanbin, the commander-in-chief of the Lu family of the Demon City warlord, has taken over the power of the Lu family. It can be said that the power is overwhelming. The apocalypse will not have a great impact on the Lu family. After the initial chaos, the zombies were quickly suppressed. Faced with a steady stream of zombies, hundreds of thousands of officers and soldiers quickly built city walls to stop the zombies. The regime collapsed. Instigated by a group of veterans under his command, Lu Yuanbin's heart was quickly shaken. In fact, more of it came from his heirs. Regime collapse, what does it mean? Qin has lost its deer, and the whole world is chasing it. It has soldiers and power. It is a great time to make achievements. Why does it still need to listen to the orders of those officials? What else can they do now? Give money and supplies? Not to mention whether the money is still useful, but how do you transport supplies? Why should I listen to you if I can't help you at all? Instigated by his two sons and daughters, Lu Yuanbin took charge of military and political power and turned a blind eye to the imperial capital. In the military conference room, Lu Yuanbin sat at the head, with his two sons and daughters below him, and the rest were his confidants. After more than half a month of purges, those who were ignorant of current affairs have all disappeared from the world. Today, the warlord Lu of the Demon City, the family, is the Lu family's private army. A video of Lin Fan flying through the sky with Su Xiaoluo was playing in the conference room. The conference room was very quiet, with only the sound from the video. This video has been played many times, and a group of people in the conference room have also watched it many times. Pausing the video, Lu Yuanbin looked down with his old eyes. Although his thin body was old, he still exuded a powerful momentum. Hasn't it been confirmed time and again that there will be no such thing as superpowers after the apocalypse? So what's going on with these two in the video? Who can explain this to me? The conference room was quiet. On the left, Lu Yuanbin's eldest son, now the military Lieutenant General Lu Jingyu, said, "Dad, in my opinion, this may be an evolution, the evolution of human beings. I have read a lot of books recently. Zombies are the product of failed evolution of new humans, and the two people in the video are successful cases. The two of them probably evolved for a long period of time before they had this ability. The reason why we haven't discovered it before is because they are still in a long period of evolution, and during this time, they are likely to be in a deep sleep state. As for us, we are probably in a recessive state. What we need is probably an opportunity to evolve like the two people in the video. Of course, the biggest possibility is that many of us cannot evolve, but the same won't turn into a zombie. What Lu Jingyu said made perfect sense. Everyone present nodded their heads. Even Lu Yuanbin thought it made sense. In fact, Lu Jingyu had nothing to do during this time and read a bunch of zombie novels. The conclusion drawn has no basis in fact at all. On the contrary, it has deceived a group of people. On the right, Lu Tongyu, who is also a lieutenant general, glanced at this highly competitive elder brother and suggested, "Dad, according to the investigation, the initiator of the video is us from Magic City, the original source. These two people must be somewhere in Magic City. I suggest that we march to Magic City. No matter what the cost, we must keep this person with us. If he does not cooperate, we will do it ourselves and obtain the secret of evolution." But, will doing this cause any bad consequences? Compared with the ambitions of the two brothers, Lu Weiniang is a little worried. In her opinion, the other party can fly and carry so many things, which is obviously very strong. Without knowing the other party's strength, use force rashly, it is likely to bring serious consequences. The art of war has it that if you know yourself and the enemy, you will be victorious in any battle. If you anger the other party, the consequences may be disastrous. My eldest niece, you are too forward-thinking and too soft-hearted. As a general, this is not a good thing. That's right, niece, listen to your uncle's words, put aside your kindness, and be a general, be determined, cold and decisive, rather than indecisive. Several Lu Yuanbin's old friends spoke one after another. Lu Weiniang opened her eyes. Before she could say anything, her second brother Lu Tongyu impatiently interrupted her. "Little sister, what are you worried about? So what if the opponent is stronger? Can it withstand our missiles and artillery? If he dares to disobey, his brother will make him a dead man." Bang! After closing the door, Lu Weiniang sat on the sofa and began to sulk. She had been reprimanded in the meeting just now. Both her uncles and her father had taught her a lesson, especially the hateful second brother. He even scolded her for a while, saying that she was not qualified as a general and should go to the grassroots level to train more. This time, even her eldest brother did not help her. She thinks everyone is crazy. What she had learned since she was a child was to protect her family and country and the people, but now everything has changed. Since the end of the world, she has said more than once that she would lead troops to search for survivors in the Magic City, but without exception, she was rejected. Things have changed. Her father and her brothers are no longer who they were before. They have gone crazy for power. She didn't know what the consequences would be, but she had a hunch that this negotiation would definitely fail. Even if her second brother Lu Tongyu led troops there, the consequences would not be good. They would probably anger the other party and usher in horrific revenge. But even if she had a premonition, what was the use? No one will listen to her, they will only think that she is alarmist, and then criticize her naivety. Her heroic face was covered with sorrow, and her beautiful eyes that were originally bright and resolute were now dim. Lu Weiniang scratched her hair irritably and said frantically, "I'm so bored. Go to sleep." She stood up, stretched her muscles and bones, and wore a fitted military uniform. The lower curves are exposed, and the long trained figure is tall and slender, full of tension. Just when Lu Weiniang was irritated and going crazy, a helicopter had already flown into the sky and headed straight for the Magic City. On it were several soldiers with live ammunition and complete equipment. The task of these soldiers is to find the video publisher, then collect information and confirm the approximate location. If they can find the two people in the video, the best. If they can't find the army, they will set off to the Magic City and conduct a carpet search. The final decision of Lu Yuanbin and others was to bring the other party back no matter whether the negotiation succeeded or failed, even if they used force, no matter life or death. In the hospital supermarket, Lin Fan and Lin Yu were still playing with pesticides in full swing. The two of them were now different from what they used to be. Their attributes were many times higher than those of ordinary people. Their super reaction ability allowed them to pass through all the ranks, from platinum to star tier. Putting down her phone, Lin Yu looked at the time. It was almost 10 o'clock. Before she knew it, she had been playing for 2 hours. At this time, Zhao Yanyan and the others should be back soon. No fight, no fight, let's talk tomorrow. Lin Fan threw the phone aside, sighed, kicked off the compromise, turned around and fell into Lin Yu's arms. Lin Yu's voluptuous beauty was pillowed on his pillow, and the fragrance was fragrant. Lin Fan hummed comfortably. Touching at Lin Fan's hair, Lin Yu had a gentle smile on her face, and her eyes were full of affection. My lord, are you tired? Yu can help you wash up. It will take a while for Yan Yan and the others to come back. Lin Fan's head arched, and Lin Fan's muffled voice came, if you don't go, just leave me paralyzed like this. I want to recharge my batteries. Lin Yu's face was slightly rosy, and she was still recharging her energy? She was afraid that someone would be killed. However, Lin Yu didn't say much. Lin Fan was the oldest in the family, so he just stayed with Lin Fan if he didn't want to go. After a while, outside there were footsteps, followed closely by Zhao Yanyan and others trotting up. The gentle expression on Lin Yu's face disappeared and returned to the cold look before. Looking over, Lin Yu said calmly, go and get rid of the stench. Wash well. Zhao Yanyan and the 3 girls nodded repeatedly. In their eyes, Lin Yu was very majestic and terrifying. The 3 girls ran to wash up. During the process, Mu Yuqing was very hungry. She recovered from her illness. Is that tonight? She has always been worried about gains and losses, and she has never looked forward to it so much. Now she has probably experienced the mentality of those licking dogs. Every move, every word, even a sentence has to be thought about for half an hour before she can decide whether she should say it or not. This kind of expectation, fear, and panic mentality was really frustrating for her. Soon the 3 girls walked out, and Lin Fan was no longer in the living room. Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki didn't take it seriously and walked into the room with their beautiful faces. Mu Yuqing heard something and became even more panicked. As experienced people, Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki gave Mu Yuqing some support, which finally made Mu Yuqing feel at ease and finally fell asleep from exhaustion. The lights in the room were not turned off until midnight. Under the night, several figures kept killing zombies around the hospital fence, and one figure worked particularly hard. In order to restore her appearance and improve her strength, Zhao Wanqing was extremely focused. Even when 8 women came to change shifts in the middle of the night, she did not stop. It wasn't until dawn that she stopped and dragged her tired body back to the supermarket. Although exhausted, she was extremely excited inside. She could feel that her strength had improved a lot, and her physical condition was much better than before the end. She couldn't wait to go back and look in the mirror to see if her appearance had recovered. Even though she went to bed at 2 or 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, Lin Fan still woke up at 8 o'clock in the morning without any fatigue, but very energetic. On the contrary, Lin Yu was sleeping like a kitten in her arms, with a look of exhaustion on her face. His eyes moved back and forth, and Lin Fan's index finger twitched, but he still endured it. It didn't matter how he played at night, but now that it was dawn, he had to get up and fight. His will must not be shaken, nor could it be weakened. If he wants to live a better life than now and have greater rights and territory, he needs to continue to expand. How can you stop because of beauty? Lowering his head and kissing Lin Yu, Lin Fan let her go and then stood up. I don't know whether it was a conditioned reflex or whether it was because I was always thinking about Lin Fan. When Lin Fan walked down, the 3 girls Zhao Wanqing woke up instantly. The 3 girls were allowed to get dressed and take care of themselves. After more than half an hour, Lin Fan walked out of the room. This is already a required course every day, but this morning it is not Zhao Yanyan, but Mu Yuqing. Speaking of which, he now has 4 silk scarves in his personal space: Lin Yu, Zhao Yanyan, Li Siki, and Mu Yuqing, the most precious scarves of 4 women. The living room is filled with the smell of rice. It's really good to feel like someone is getting dressed in the morning and the food is ready when you walk out of the room. No wonder those people are so passionate about power and money. At the door of the kitchen, a beautiful figure walked out. Lin Fan didn't pay attention at first, but when he suddenly raised his head, everyone was confused. Who are you? Lin Fan's eyes were blank. Looking at the plump, elegant and noble woman in front of him, he was a little confused. Where did this woman come from? None of the women he brought back from Dahua commercial building were so beautiful and elegant, but she looked familiar. But the question was, where did this woman come from? Seeing Lin Fan's confused look, as well as the fleeting surprise, Zhao Wanqing couldn't be happier. Being able to see Lin Fan's expression, her efforts last night were completely in vain. Everything was worth it. Her appearance recovered. Everything recovered. Her skin is radiant, her face is flawless, her hair is shiny, and she even lost weight after starving for a month. The little piggy is holding up her clothes. Moreover, as her strength improves, her skin becomes more elastic, and she is extremely satisfied, especially with Lin Fan's current expression. Women want to please themselves, and Lin Fan's performance is undoubtedly the greatest recognition and praise for her. Her hard work, her efforts, it was not in vain. She finally got through it. Lord, Lin Fan asked, which one are you? Who are you? Where is Zhao Wanqing? It's not that Lin Fan can't recognize it, but that Zhao Wanqing is so different from before. They're two different people. Who can connect the sallow and skinny Zhao Wanqing with the woman with perfect temperament and flawless appearance in front of him? With an intoxicating smile on his face, Zhao Wanqing said softly, Lord, I am Wanqing. I had to starve for a month before I became what you saw. Now with the weapons you gave me, after working hard last night, Wanqing finally recovered. As the master's cook, this way I won't embarrass you. Lin Fan looked at the woman in front of him up and down. She was indeed about the same height, and there was a shadow of Zhao Wanqing between her eyebrows, but the change was too big. Although he knew that hunger had affected some of Zhao Wanqing's appearance, he did not expect that it would have such a big impact. This was a huge change. After reacting, Lin Fan seemed much calmer. Zhao Wanqing was indeed very beautiful now, with fair skin and delicate and graceful facial features, revealing nobility and grace. She had obviously been in a high position for a long time, but this was what can he do? Lin Yu and the others are not bad at all. Each has his own merits, not to mention, what is Zhao Wanqing's status now? He is just his maid, just the food on the plate. There is no need for him to be shocked. Is it possible that Zhao Wanqing can still get it from his bowl? Flying out? Those 100 points of faith are not fake until death. The only thing that makes Lin Fan curious is how many zombies Zhao Wanqing killed last night before she returned to her current appearance. System, can you count the number of zombies Zhao Wanqing killed last night? My lord, Zhao Wanqing killed a total of 231 zombies last night. What? What is Lin Fan's first reaction after hearing this? 231. This is either 231 Chinese cabbages, or it will take a long time to chop the Chinese cabbage. Even an adult would be exhausted, let alone a zombie. How long did you have to kill? Did you come back in the morning? He glanced at Zhao Wanqing subconsciously. What he could see was not only the joy and affection on his face, but also the undetectable fatigue in his eyes. 231 zombies. Indeed. It's hard for Zhao Wanqing. He has no superpowers and is boring to kill zombies with Tang Dao. Lin Fan doesn't think he can persevere. Thank you for your hard work. Go get some sleep. Yan Yan and the others will clean up after they get up. Lifting up her hand and gently brushing it on Zhao Wanqing's face, Lin Fan felt a little distressed. Zhao Wanqing did this just to please him, otherwise there would be no need to work so hard. Shaking her head, Zhao Wanqing rubbed Lin Fan's palm, her eyes intoxicated. Lord, I remember I have 2 rewards that I can use now to seek reward from you? Looking at Zhao Wanqing's expectant eyes, Lin Fan did not refuse. You tell me, as long as it is not too difficult, I can agree. When the matter came to a close, Zhao Wanqing was still a little nervous, but she was relieved when she heard Lin Fan agreed. Lord, I would like to ask you to give me a chance to follow in your footsteps and assist you instead of being a cook. Lord, don't get me wrong. Wanqing is honored and happy to be able to cook for you. I just need someone. Chance, I will still cook for you every day. As if fearing that Lin Fan would misunderstand, Zhao Wanqing quickly expressed her feelings. Unexpected but expected, Lin Fan understood Zhao Wanqing's thoughts. With such beauty, naturally she would not be willing to be ordinary, let alone stay in a high position for a long time before the end. She doesn't want to be a cook. Zhao Wanqing has the ability and ideas. This can be seen from the fact that she used drones in supermarkets to search for survivors' gathering places and searched for hospital cafeterias online. Since she has the ability, Lin Fan can also don't mind giving her this chance. Since you want to compete, then I will give you this opportunity. From today on, your status is only lower than that of me and you, higher than anyone else. You can leave the cooking to others, and I will give you the opportunity. Well, it depends on whether you can grasp it yourself. Lin Fan is also looking forward to finding out what Zhao Wanqing is capable of and how far she can achieve it. The stronger her ability is, the more confident Lin Fan will be to teach her and Lin Yu the base. Then he can feel free to go out. Inside the Doomsday, women are easy to find, and beautiful women are easy to find, but there are not so many capable and beautiful women. My lord, Wanqing will not let you down. You don't have to leave the cooking to others. Wanqing hopes that you can eat the food I cooked by myself. That will make Wanqing feel at ease. Very satisfied, Zhao Wanqing looked excited. She finally succeeded. This was just her first step. Okay, as long as you like it. Lin Fan doesn't care about this. Anyone can cook, as long as it's delicious. Since Zhao Wanqing likes it, let's do it. What about the second opportunity for reward? Do you want to use it together now? Zhao Wanqing nodded, took a deep breath, clenched her pink fists, and looked very nervous. Lord, I like you. No, it's not like it, it's admiration. It's love. I hope you can give me a chance. I don't want to live in my house anymore. Lin Fan was a little surprised by Zhao Wanqing's request. After all, in his heart, Zhao Wanqing was just meat in the bowl, and she couldn't run away without telling her. This request does not count. You can mention another one. Don't get excited. This is not a reward request. I won't let you go if you don't mention it. Rejecting Zhao Wanqing's proposal, and seeing her excited look, Lin Fan finished her words in a hurry. She breathed a sigh of relief. Zhao Wanqing thought that Lin Fan didn't like her. Her heartbeat almost stopped just now. Then I want the second position in the main palace, and I will prove that I am qualified to sit on it. Okay. As long as you have confidence, is there anything else? Go and rest if you have nothing to do. You look very tired. Ambitious women generally do not perform too badly, otherwise it is not ambition, but wishful thinking and daydreaming. Zhao Wanqing went back to the room obediently. After killing zombies all night, she was indeed very tired. If it weren't for waiting for Lin, she probably wouldn't be able to hold on if he came out to express his feelings. After dinner, Lin Fan vacated his personal space. Su Xiaoluo had an insane amount of snacks and the like. After clearing his personal space, Lin Fan opened his personal panel. Character: Lin Fan's strength, 54 agility, 58 intelligence, 70. Physique: 69 points, 10,840 ability. Magnetic field control LV6, lightning control level 1. Experience: 5,509 10,000ths. 0 tenths items owned. Flying knife 100 points already exceeded 10,000. Seeing this number, Lin Fan was shocked. The points have increased too much. Were all those women crazy last night? How many zombies do you have to kill? System: from last night to now, how many zombies have those women killed in total? Sir, there are currently 3,965 zombies in total, and the number is still rising steadily. Hiss. Even though Lin Fan had been prepared for it, he was shocked. But he immediately realized, how did he kill nearly 4,000 zombies? Although the hospital covers a large area, it killed so many zombies. The piled up corpses, are they enough for the zombies to cross the fence? Lin Fan's expression changed, and he ran out of the supermarket directly. When he saw the more than 10 figures standing at the entrance of the hospital, Lin Fan was stunned. The densely packed corpses have covered the hospital's electronic door. On top of the pile of corpses, more than a dozen women waved tang knives and did not retreat even half a step under the sunlight. In front of them, there was a steady stream of zombies. These women. The pile of corpses was more than 4 meters high and was in the shape of a slope. More than a dozen women stood on the pile of corpses. In front of them were zombies pouring in continuously. Fortunately, the pile of corpses was high enough, eliminating the possibility of zombies climbing up from both sides. This way, more than 10 women were not attacked from both sides, and they were still able to calmly deal with the many zombies climbing up the corpse slope. Lin Fan took a look and saw that zombies were coming from all directions. The smell of blood and living people was too strong here. In addition, the hospital was already crowded with people, so there were a lot of zombies. On the pile of corpses, Li Fengjiao chopped off the head of the reluctant zombie with a knife, lifted the corpse and kicked it to the ground, and without hesitation slashed the other zombie that rushed towards him with his knife. Wiping the sweat from her head, she hasn't stopped since her shift at 2 o'clock in the morning. If Tang Dao hadn't replenished herself with a little strength every time she killed a zombie, she would have been dragged down long ago. From the beginning of killing zombies through the fence, to finding more and more corpses later, the zombies tended to climb up and directly cross the fence, which made her realize that something was wrong. Not only her, but other women also realized that something was wrong. If this continues, sooner or later the zombies will jump over the fence and rush into the hospital. This is not the result they want. The 8 women together gathered directly at the door. With their strength improved, they started to kill the zombies through the courtyard door. As more and more corpses appeared, they stepped out of the courtyard door and stood on the pile of corpses to kill the zombies. The pile of corpses was getting higher and higher, and their strength was improving more and more. Li Fengjiao felt that even if she was fighting alone without the Tang Dao in her hand, she could handle the siege of several grown men. There were more and more zombies, and her physical exertion became more and more serious. Seeing that they could no longer stop the zombies from advancing, in order to prevent the zombies from rushing into the hospital, Li Fengjiao had no choice but to pull up the 8 sleeping girls in the dormitory. With the addition of new forces, they were able to withstand the pressure, but the situation was still not optimistic. The new army has plenty of physical strength, but they are a little exhausted. It seems like they can't kill all the zombies. She is gritting her teeth and holding on, and the same is true for the others. Zhao Zhao, I'm almost out of strength, what should I do? Not far away, Lin Xiaoyu kicked a corpse down and breathed in the fresh air. His head was covered with sweat, so much that his hair stuck to his face. Grit your teeth and hold on until the Lord wakes up. Li Fengjiao snorted and killed a zombie that rushed over. Why don't I go and inform you that if this continues, it's not a question of whether we will die, but that we will no longer be able to stop the zombies from advancing. Not far away, Zhu Fangfang, who also belonged to the second team, suggested. After saying these words, the hearts of more than a dozen women sank at the same time. Although they were unwilling to admit it, there were indeed more and more zombies in front of them. Tang Tang in their hands was the knife seemed to weigh 1,000 kilograms, and it was very difficult to swing it. They were almost at the end of their retreat. If they retreated, they would go directly back to the hospital area. Just when the girls were feeling heavy and desperate, Lin Fan rushed over, his palm empty. As soon as they were caught, the 16 women were shocked to lose control of their bodies, and then floated back to the hospital area. They had experienced this kind of situation before, and it was their master. The 16 women all looked behind them, looking at Lin Fan's figure. Their eyes it was bright, but it quickly dimmed. They were almost breached by zombies, and they still needed Lin Fan to save them. It was really bad. Everyone, go get some rest. You've done a great job. Lin Fan recognized the efforts of these women, and his soft words of comfort made Li Fengjiao and others' eyes tingle, and their hearts were moved. Yes, Lord. Lin Fan's words were authority and an absolute order. They did not dare to refute. After bowing respectfully, they dragged their tired bodies away one after another, even the team that came over later. As they watched the group of women walk away, Lin Fan looking back and looking at the piles of zombie corpses, Lin Fan was a little amazed. It was these ordinary women who could withstand the attacks of so many zombies. Even with the Tang Dao he gave him, it was amazing enough. If it were an ordinary man, facing the endless zombies that seemed to be endless, he would probably collapse and run for his life, right? After these women have been tortured, their souls have been transformed and become more tenacious. With a grasp of the void, a person with a radius of 1 kilometer can the corpses inside, together with the zombies that came over, floated into the air at the same time. Controlling so many zombies at once was a bit difficult even for Lin Fan's level 6 magnetic control, but fortunately, it was not a big problem. Flying in the air, Lin Fan directly threw these zombies thousands of meters away, and it was as if zombies were raining from the sky. After going back and forth several times to completely clear the corpses around the hospital, Lin Fan stopped, and after some busy work, His mental strength, 1/3 of them were consumed. How terrifying is this? The points surged by 4,000 in one night, which gave Lin Fan a taste of the sweetness. These were 16 female warriors who earned points. What if it was 160? What about 1,600? The search for survivors is urgent. If a force wants to become bigger and stronger, population is necessary. Based on the population, the army is developed. No force can be sustained by just 1 or 2 people, unless it takes several people to do everything. Doing everything by himself is not what Lin Fan wants. He prefers the feeling of having power and controlling everything, rather than being a tool. Go search for survivors today. Boosting your population is imminent. With the decision made, Lin Fan jumped a few times and left the hospital. This time, Lin Fan did not fly in the sky, flying in the sky looking for survivors. Unless the survivors were running on the street, there was no chance of finding them. Zombies could not help at all. Lin Fan posed a threat. The magnetic control ability not only isolated everything around him, but even distorted the light. The whole person seemed to disappear out of thin air. The zombies could not detect his aura at all, and could not see Lin Fan's figure. Thunder and lightning jumped at the fingertips, and lightning burst out. The lightning, full of destructive power, could easily burn the brains of zombies into coke. Ding! Killing zombies +1, points +1, lightning control ability experience +1, current experience is 1/10. Ding! +1 for killing zombies, +1 points, +1 experience for lightning control abilities, current experience is 10 out of 10. Ding! The thunder and lightning ability has been upgraded. The current level is LV2. The destructive power of thunder and lightning has been increased, and the release distance has been increased. Since acquiring the thunder and lightning power, Lin Fan has not killed zombies to increase his power level. Now it is time to brush it up. The initial power upgrade requirements are not high, and it will become more and more abnormal later. The thunder and lightning power has been promoted to LV2. Blue lightning arcs enveloped Lin Fan's body. The lightning was stimulating the cells in his body. Lin Fan could feel that his strength had improved a little, but not much. After all, his body was strengthened by LV6 magnetic control. Passed. The lightning quickly disappeared. Lin Fan felt that there was more lightning energy in his body. Different from the mental power required to control magnetism, the lightning superpower was real energy. Not only the energy increased, but the destructive power was also stronger. With his hand, the thunder light condensed, and with a wave of his hand, the thunder light splashed out 10 meters away, directly into the ground. The thunder light exploded, and a deep pit of more than 10 centimeters was opened on the ground. This destructive power is very intuitive, and it falls on a person. That was a big hole. It was comparable to being hit by a machine gun. Lin Fan's level 2 thunder and lightning power did not make Lin Fan feel satisfied. The magnetic control power spread for thousands of meters around him, and he kept waving out a series of thunder snakes in his hand. Shooting. The zombies blocking the road fell down one after another. Their heads turned black and smelled of paste. They were just killing zombies, and they were not pursuing destructive power. Lin Fan controlled it very well, neither wasting it nor being unable to kill the zombies. Thunder and lightning, his powers were steadily improving. Lin Fan's walking speed was not slow. Compared to ordinary people, this speed could be considered running. Lin Fan did not find any survivors during the process, but unfortunately, they were all men. Lin Fan was too lazy to pay attention and just let them fend for themselves. After walking through the hospital street and standing at the crossroads, Lin Fan was considering which way to go, and then decisively walked to the right. This was not his choice, but something. Several people broke into the range of perception controlled by his magnetism. Among them were 4 men and 1 woman. According to Lin Fan's perception, the 5 people were very cautious. They should have come out to replenish food. Several of them had simple weapons in their hands, and even one the police pistol, and the rest were sharpened iron rods, axes, etc., which seemed to be good weapons. While killing the zombies, he leaned over. The distance of 1,000 meters was not a problem at all for Lin Fan. Soon Lin Fan stood 10 meters away from several people. Ding! Killing zombies +1, points +1, lightning control ability experience +1, current experience is 50/50. Ding! The thunder and lightning ability has been upgraded. The current level is LV3. The destructive power of thunder and lightning has been increased, and the release distance has been increased. Accidentally, the lightning power was upgraded. The lightning struck his body. This time, Lin Fan could feel the improvement more obviously than the last time. At the same time, the lightning energy flow in his body as thick as a hair increased 3 times, more than enough. But Lin Fan has no time to pay attention to these now. All his thoughts are now focused on the 5 people 10 meters away. These 5 people obviously came out to replenish food. There is probably a gathering place for survivors behind them. More than 10 meters away, the 4 people were unaware that Lin Fan was observing them. The 5 of them were covered in dirty mud and carefully entered a supermarket. After a while, they ran out carrying several large bags. They seemed to be very skilled. Originally Lin Fan thought that these 4 people were stable, but accidents often happen so unprepared. The bag in the hand of the tall and thin man holding a gun actually broke, and several bottles of canned drinks fell out and hit the ground. There was a crisp sound, and in an instant, the air became quiet. The zombies no longer wandered aimlessly, looking at them with deathly gray eyes. Lin Fan slapped his head. He planned to help 5 people, but right here at that time, after all, we still wanted to plot someone else's survivor camp. We couldn't let 5 people be wiped out in this group, right? But before Lin Fan took action, the situation in the field changed again, and Lin Fan was stunned on the spot. Damn it. 66,666. Bang. Oh. Well. The gunfire was piercing, and the smoke was filled. A spray of blood sprayed on the concrete floor. The dull and sharp scream was short and seemed to be forcibly suppressed. At the entrance of the supermarket, a tall and thin man holding a pistol fired 1 shot. He hit the shocked woman on the leg, and quickly snatched the bag from the woman's hand with a cold voice. Take the back door of the supermarket and evacuate from there. The other 3 men seemed to be used to this kind of thing. They were not shocked at all. They turned around and rushed into the supermarket without hesitation. They seemed to be used to this kind of thing. One look at the posture of the 4 men and they knew that they were habitual offenders. Xiao Xiao, after being shot, the woman covered her chin in pain. She was forced to suppress her scream just now, but it didn't help at all. The harsh gunshot attracted the attention of all the zombies around, and the fresh smell of blood attracted these. The zombies turned from lazy to violent, roaring and roaring towards the woman with their ferocious beaks. Dragging the injured Xiaofa, looking at the 4 people leaving the supermarket without looking back, Wang Ziwen felt despair. She didn't expect these bastards to be so capable, even injuring her and asking her to break the rear so that they could escape. Wang Ziwen finally understood why many of the people who were brought out before did not go back. The 4 of them were the ones left after going back and forth. It turned out that they had fooled all those who opposed them outside. Roar. The roar of the zombies was getting closer and closer. Wang Ziwen turned to look at the group of corpses getting closer and closer. She knew that she would die here today, unless a miracle happened. Lu Haoshan, you bastard, brute. I won't let you go even if I'm a ghost. The desperate and vicious curses spread far away. This was Wang Ziwen's last stubbornness. Apart from that, she could no longer find a way to retaliate against Lu Haoshan and those people. Go to hell. Go to hell. Bang. The iron rod in her hand swung and knocked the zombies to the ground. Even though she knew she would die, Wang Ziwen was not willing to be killed by the zombies. She also wanted to kill a few zombies before she died. She was not they can be eaten so easily. Are zombies the most terrifying thing in the apocalypse? No, the most terrifying thing is human beings. It's human nature. At the most critical moment, shoot and injure your companions, and then escape for your own life. In order to survive, you will do anything. Extremely. In fact, Lu Haoshan and the others really couldn't escape unscathed. Not really, but they chose the safest way, letting their companions use their lives as bait to clear the way for them. In fact, it was also very successful. All the zombies were killed. Wang Ziwen was attracted. Looking at the woman surrounded by zombies, Lin Fan knew that it was his turn to take action. With how much this woman hated those people, being a leader must not be a problem, right? Lightning flashed, and blue lightning snakes appeared. Flying through the air, zombies died one after another wherever they passed. In an instant, a 3-meter wide passage appeared among the zombies. Ding! Killing zombies +1, points +1, lightning control ability experience +1. Current experience is 11/100. Ding. Killing zombies +1, points +1, lightning control ability experience +1. Current experience is 50/100. A man appeared next to Wang Ziwen in one step. The smell hit his face. Lin Fan frowned and looked at the stunned woman. He gave up the idea of grabbing her with his hands. The magnetic force spread and he flew her directly to the supermarket, standing on the roof of the building. Before Wang Ziwen realized what was happening, she saw a series of arcs flying over, and then the dense zombies fell into a large area, and then she felt a sense of weightlessness. The vision blurred for a moment, and then she flew to the roof. Wang Ziwen was confused. What happened? Why did she come out of the zombie pile inexplicably? Just when Wang Ziwen was confused, the light and shadow around her blurred. A tall figure appeared beside him out of thin air. The sudden appearance of Lin Fan startled Wang Ziwen, and she subconsciously wanted to retreat. Pain came from her legs, and Wang Ziwen fell to the ground uncontrollably. But at this time, Wang Ziwen didn't have time to pay attention to the gunshot wound on her leg. She looked at Lin Fan with dull eyes and asked, "Who are you?" Looking at the extremely dirty woman in front of him, Lin Fan had to praise her even though she was very smelly. It is not easy for everyone to survive the apocalypse. Take this woman as an example. The stinky mud on her body almost wipes out all human beings. The smell is completely covered. With such a bad smell, the zombie's nose will not work no matter how good it is. This greatly reduces the possibility of being attacked by zombies. It doesn't matter who I am. Do I want to make a deal? Wang Ziwen was stunned and asked tentatively, "What kind of deal?" "I saved you and even healed the gunshot wound on your leg. The price is to take me to your gathering place. I can even hand over those 4 men to you and let you do whatever you want. How about that?" Lin Fan said calmly. Lin Fan's conditions were too generous, especially the last condition. She couldn't find any reason to refuse. "I promise you. Call. Call." In the underground passage, 4 figures were running quickly, each carrying a big bag in their hands. They were the 4 Lu Haoshan who had just escaped from the supermarket. Brother Hao fought well. I have long been unhappy with that woman. She led a group of women to resist us. It was really desperate. While running, the man on the far left spoke, with deep resentment and flattery for Lu Haoshan in his words. "Isn't it? That bastard, even if he is a noble person, he still encourages those women. What the hell? Do you still think it's before the end? I have long wanted to kill this bitch, but now without her, I wonder how those women can escape my grasp, he. The other 2 men were also cursing, and their tone was obscene. Lu Haoshan, who was running in the middle, glanced at the brothers with contempt. A few idiots know how to play with women. If they didn't need their support, Lu Haoshan would have killed these guys long ago, kicked away. Stop talking. Everyone who dares to oppose us has been called out and killed. Now go back quickly and kill all the remaining disobedient thorns." The 3 men chuckled. "Brother, if there are women, leave them to us. It would be a pity to kill them." The brothers promised to make them submissive in a few days. Glancing at the 3 of them sideways, Lu Haoshan gave a noncommittal hum and did not refuse. Lu Haoshan's reaction made the 3 of them overjoyed, and there was another burst of flattery. The 4 of them ran out from another survivor gathering place. The gathering place was invaded by zombies, and he ran out as a last resort, and was kindly accepted by Wang Ziwen's forces. However, Lu Haoshan was not a kind person to begin with. He came and went, and in the name of supplying food, he trapped many people. Don't look down on those who dislike them and oppose them. The current Wang Ziwen is the last one. On the rooftop of the supermarket, he tore off Wang Ziwen's trouser legs. Looking at the injuries above, Lin Fan moved his fingers, and a bullet flew out. Without anesthetic, Wang Ziwen gritted his teeth and groaned. Not good at treating injuries, Lin Fan simply disinfected her and then bandaged her wound with a bandage. During the process, Wang Ziwen almost died from the pain. She removed the warhead and then poured alcohol on the wound to disinfect it. It was so sore and refreshing. Standing by and waiting for the woman to catch her breath, Lin Fan said, "Can you leave?" Wang Ziwen turned pale and nodded weakly. Controlling Wang Ziwen to fly, Lin Fan moved a little away from her. There was nothing he could do, it was too stinky. Give directions. Wang Ziwen took a look and pointed in a direction, that way. With Wang Ziwen pointing the way, Lin Fan quickly led her to the roof of a building. As soon as he stopped, he saw Lu Haoshan and 4 others emerging from the sewer. There were 2 people guarding the sewer area. The 4 returned with a large amount of food, which immediately attracted many survivors, including men and women. Seeing the huge harvest of the 4 people, they were all overjoyed. So many, enough for us to live frugally for several days. Oh my God, there are bottles of wine and cartons of cigarettes, that's awesome. It's amazing that Haoshan and the others can bring back so many things every time they go out. Why are there only 4 of you? Where is Wenwen? After more than a dozen survivors got excited, a woman finally discovered something was wrong. There were 5 of us when we went out, but how come only 4 came back? Lu Haoshan kept watching with cold eyes, as did the 3 brothers next to him, with a sarcastic look on his face. Smile. What happened to you guys? Why are you not speaking? Where is Wenwen? Yes. Where is Sister Wenwen? Several women rushed up and questioned Lu Haoshan and the 4 of them, not noticing anything was wrong at all. Sister Wenwen. Damn you. Sister Wenwen. Who do you think you are and how dare you question me? Sun Ji slapped the woman who was coming towards her to the ground. Sun Ji looked ferocious. He had long been unhappy with these women. They had no sense of self-consciousness at all. They would be giggling all day long if they didn't do anything. Isn't this kind of woman like this? Should it be used as a tool for excretion? Hello. What are you doing? Several men saw this situation and rushed forward. Just as they were about to take action, Lu Haoshan raised his hand and pulled the trigger. Bang! The piercing sound of gunfire echoed, and the man who rushed forward was shot in the head. He was shot on the spot. Death. The sudden scene shocked everyone present. Even the few men who wanted to rush over froze in place. After blowing the smoke from the gun and watching the scene suddenly quiet down, Lu Haoshan was very satisfied. The feeling of being in control of the situation is really great. Wang Ziwen is dead. Now I make the decision here, do you understand now? From now on, I will decide the rules here. Those who are disobedient will see who is tougher, your heads are my bullets. Glancing around the crowd, Lu Haoshan smiled slightly, making everyone feel cold in their hearts. Do you understand, Bright? Understood? Everyone nodded in fear, and Lu Haoshan asked. Does anyone else have any objections? Tell me and I will listen. The surroundings were extremely quiet. At this moment, no one dared to speak out to object. Lu Haoshan felt unprecedentedly content. This is what he wanted. I said, I'm not dead yet, and you want to cause trouble? Have you asked me? Standing on the roof and watching everything Lu Haoshan did, Lin Fan had to give him a thumbs up. He was a man with ideas, brains, and ability. It was just a pity that he met him by chance and was destined to be tragic. The pale-faced Wang Ziwen also saw it, and the resentment and hatred in her eyes almost solidified. Seeing Lu Haoshan's domineering appearance, she couldn't help it. I said, I'm not dead yet, and you want to cause trouble? Have you asked me? Lu Haoshan, the 2 of us need to settle our accounts? The voice is so familiar that it couldn't be more familiar. This is Wang Ziwen's voice. Lu Haoshan and everyone are stunned. What the hell is this? Wang Ziwen can run out when surrounded by zombies. Or was she shot in the leg? What to shoot? What's the joke? Lu Haoshan followed the sound and happened to see Lin Fan and Wang Ziwen falling from the sky. This way of appearing was really shocking. Flying down from the sky lightly. Is there something wrong with the way I opened the Doomsday? Wenwen. Sister Wenwen. Several women seemed to have found a backbone, and even the woman who was lying on the ground in a daze crawled to Wang Ziwen's side. After glancing at the women in the field, Lin Fan quickly lost interest. Beautiful? It depends on who you compare with. If Lin Yu and the others are goddesses with a score of 9 or higher, then among these few, Lin Fan, the prettiest and best figured one, will only score an 8.7. Some of them can even plow the ground. The awl on his chin made Lin Fan a little scared. If he hadn't gone under the knife before the end, he would have written the word, Lin Fan, backwards. After looking at Lin Fan for a few seconds, he lost interest. The most beautiful original one only scored 8.7, and the rest it was simply unsightly to look at. These could barely be considered as farmers. If they wanted to kill zombies, they could be included in the team. Anyway, he couldn't do it because he was too reluctant. After comforting a few women, Wang Ziwen looking at Lu Haoshan. The cold and resentful look made Lu Haoshan subconsciously take 2 steps back. When the 4 of you fled here, I accepted you with kindness despite the objections of others. However, the 4 of you turned out to be so ambitious, like white-eyed wolves who couldn't get enough to eat. What did I do to you? You actually attacked me in order to seize power and cut off the air. You are simply worse than an animal. Wang Ziwen's words immediately made everyone present react. Looking at the bandage on Wang Ziwen's leg, everyone understood what was going on. After a brief shock, Lu Haoshan regained his composure and held the gun in his hand. It gave him a great sense of security. Although Wang Ziwen appeared in a weird way, the gun in his hand was his greatest confidence. No matter how weird you are, can you still dodge bullets? Winner or loser, the facts are written by the victor. Now is the end. Lu Haoshan's voice was cold. He raised his arm and pointed his finger at the survivors around him. What else can these wastes do besides eating? Why should I take my brothers and risk their lives to find food, while these losers can just sit back and enjoy the benefits? When Lu Haoshan pointed at him, these survivors all blushed and had thick necks, but because of Lu Haoshan's fierce power, no one dared to speak. Don't talk about the end of the world. We are all human beings and should help each other. I have a gun in my hand. If you can't resist me, just obey my orders, or die. Wang Ziwen, what will happen if you come back alive? If I can give you 1 shot, I can give you a 2nd shot. If you don't want to die, just be obedient. The muzzle of the gun was raised and pointed at Wang Ziwen's head. Lu Haoshan's eyes were cold, or you can try to see how hard your life is. Facing the black hole of the gun, Wang Ziwen was still afraid. She subconsciously looked at Lin Fan and saw all kinds of extraordinary things about Lin Fan. She put all her hopes on Lin Fan. After all, Lin Fan promised to kill Lu Haoshan. The 4 people taught her how to deal with it. Looking at Wang Ziwen's eyes, Lu Haoshan frowned. He was still a little wary of Lin Fan, the new face who fell from the sky with Wang Ziwen, but the gun in his hand gave him a huge boost. Confidence. My friend, I don't know what Wang Ziwen promised you, but I can guarantee that as long as you don't interfere in this matter, you can do whatever you want with these women. We can jointly manage this survivor gathering place and gather more living people. Wang Ziwen was frightened and looked at Lin Fan nervously. If Lin Fan defected before the battle, she would be in trouble. Shrugging, Lin Fan said coldly, although I also want to take these women away, but this person pays more attention to promises. I promised Wang Ziwen before that I would leave you to her, and the price was that she would show me the way. Lu Haoshan's heart sank, and he pointed his gun at Lin Fan. Does this mean there's no more talk? Friends, don't challenge my patience, and don't challenge the gun in my hand. Being pointed at a gun, the gun that others feared was no different from a fire stick in Lin Fan's eyes. He lightly snapped his fingers, and a dozen pistols appeared in the air, pointing the guns at Lu Haoshan and the 4 of them. I have this stuff too, more than you do. Now it's my turn to ask you. Friends, don't challenge my patience, nor the pile of guns in my hand. Click. The sound of more than a dozen pistols being loaded simultaneously was so clear. Facing the dozens of black muzzles, Lu Haoshan was stunned. Damn it! Are you so poisonous? Where did you get so many guns? Looking at the gun in his hand, Lu Haoshan felt shabby. Of course, he was also shocked by Lin Fan's unpredictable ability. There are more than a dozen guns floating in the air. What kind of ability is this? His 3 views are about to collapse. Aren't there no superpowers since the end of the world? What's going on with the man in front of me? The sudden appearance of a dozen guns not only shocked Lu Haoshan, but also shocked the surrounding survivors. After a brief moment of fright, Sun Ji seemed to have remembered something. The more he looked at Lin Fan's face, the more familiar he felt. After comparing it, he had confirmed his suspicion. Big brother, be careful. This man is the god that went viral last night. He flew across the sky and carried a bunch of fruit trees across the sky over the magical city. He should be very powerful. Brother, if a hero doesn't suffer the immediate consequences, let's give in. Lu Haoshan was at a loss. What kind of immortal? What kind of ethereal crossing? Why didn't he know? He spent last night planning how to kill Wang Ziwen. He had no time to play with his mobile phone, so he missed a lot of things. But one thing, he knew that the man across from him was very powerful. Not to mention superpowers, he couldn't afford to mess with these guns. If he didn't want to become a hornet's nest, he had to admit his defeat. He raised his hand decisively and threw the gun on the ground reluctantly. Don't mention how frustrated Lu Haoshan was. He didn't expect that Lin Fan suddenly appeared. He lost everything and even lost the gun in his hand. This was a loss to his grandma's family. Seeing Lu Haoshan put down his gun and surrendered, Lin Fan raised his eyebrows and said, "It's really boring. I thought we were going to have a passionate shootout, but you just surrendered like this. Okay. I'll leave these 4 people to you. I've fulfilled my promise." With a wave of his hand, more than a dozen guns were taken back, along with Lin Haoshan's one on the ground and several magazines. Seeing his own gun disappear inexplicably, Lu Haoshan was so heartbroken that he couldn't breathe. "You already have so many guns, why don't you? Letting me go is so disrespectful." Without the threat, Wang Ziwen stood up, holding an iron rod in her hand, and without saying a word, she hit her with a stick. Her ruthlessness made Lin Fan look askance. This woman, really, he dared to strike. He thought he was going to ask his mother-in-law for a while, but it turned out that he didn't say much, so he went up and opened the gourd. This was a real gourd. As soon as the iron rod came down, he hit the head of the man at the end on the spot, and he didn't even say a word. None, so he fell to the ground and died. One of the 4 brothers was killed suddenly. Lu Haoshan and the others did not expect Wang Ziwen to be so cruel. They thought they would be punished at most and then expel them, but they did not expect that they killed them directly. "Run!" Lu Haoshan couldn't help but shouted, turned around and ran towards the sewer. As long as he jumped into the sewer, he would have to start all over again. Wang Ziwen was now a cripple, so there was no way he could catch up with him. In fact, this was indeed the case. The 3 of them turned around and started all over again. "Run!" Wang Ziwen was lame and couldn't catch up. Lin Fan raised his eyebrows. "If I let you run away, wouldn't it appear that I don't mean what I say?" With a wave of his hand, the 3 of them flew back and fell to the ground. Wang Ziwen breathed a sigh of relief, limped forward, picked up the stick and smashed it down. Bang! The sound was dull, and the 3 of them were stunned. Before one of them could react, a hole opened in his head. With blood splattered on his face, Sun Ji shivered and peed out of fright. He looked at Wang Ziwen walking over and waved his hands quickly. "No, don't kill me. I was also forced. I just obeyed orders. It was all Lu Haoshan. Kill Lu Haoshan." As he said that, Sun Ji hurriedly pointed at Lu Haoshan next to him. Lu Haoshan was stunned by this operation. A nest of snakes and rats all deserved to die. Wang Ziwen swung the stick and hit Wang Ziwen hard. Sun Ji had no time to dodge and was knocked to the ground. 3 people died tragically one after another. Lu Haoshan's eyes were bleak. He gritted his teeth and looked at Wang Ziwen, and said unwillingly, "I hate it. If it weren't for others to help you, I wouldn't lose at all." "Yes, you are right, but the fact is that I won." After Wang Ziwen finished speaking, she stopped talking nonsense, picked up the stick and hit Lu Haoshan on the head. She hit Lu Haoshan's head with all her strength. Lu Haoshan's head was smashed and deformed. In this situation, even gods can't save him. Witnessing the prince throughout the whole process of Wen's revenge, Lin Fan sighed in his heart. It's really scary for a woman to be cruel. After finishing the 4 people, Wang Ziwen dragged her injured leg to Lin Fan and said, "Thank you. Thank you. If it weren't for you, I might have died. And these 4 scum are still at large. It doesn't matter, this is what I promised you. I have many shortcomings. The only good thing about me is that I keep my word." Lin Fan didn't take Wang Ziwen's gratitude seriously and glanced at several women. He hadn't finished his business yet. "Your business is done, now it's my turn. Wheel. Now you? What's the meaning? Wang." Ziwen was stunned for a moment, not understanding what Lin Fan meant. Pointing at the people in front of her, Lin Fan smiled and said, "You don't think I'm here for charity, do you? I came to your place for no reason, just to take a look. Do you think that's possible?" Wang Ziwen was dumbfounded. Looking at the smile on Lin Fan's face, she had a bad feeling. The women around her subconsciously took 2 steps back. What left Lin Fan speechless the most was that the men all took a step back in fear. Distance. Can a man withdraw his hammer? Can he not even beg him? The purpose of my coming is very simple. You and these women all come with me. From today on, your ownership belongs to me. You have no right to refuse. There are only two kinds of women in my eyes. Facing the frightened looks of these women, Lin Fan said calmly. The first type is my woman or maid, the second type is a dead person. Take your pick. Wang Ziwen felt chilled in her heart. What is this? Just killed a jackal, but found a tiger brought back. She clenched the iron rod in her hand, but she didn't feel the slightest sense of security. Can I not choose? Nodding seriously, Lin Fan said, Okay, I am the most knowledgeable person. Not choosing means abstaining. Abstaining will automatically fall into the second category. Do you want to try it? Wang Ziwen. After all that effort, Wang Ziwen still wants to fight for something. Who wants to lose their personal freedom? Is there anyone in the world who wants to be a maid? Do you think I'm easy to talk to? Lin Fan asked suddenly. The sudden question interrupted what Wang Ziwen wanted to say. Before she could speak, Lin Fan waved his hand and a lightning arc flashed through, instantly piercing a man's head. Ah! The man's body fell, and piercing screams followed. Wang Ziwen's pupils shrank, and Lin Fan told her with the facts that she had no right to choose. And the man who refused was the consequences. This man could really kill them. Looking at the women who were caught in fear, Lin Fan raised his hand and pointed his finger at the side of his head. Seeing Lin Fan's action, the women's frightened screams instantly became much quieter. If you continue to argue, I will send you to stay with that man. The women huddled together in fear, covering their heads with their palms, shaking their heads as if to promise that they would never scream again. I like obedient women. Lin Fan smiled with satisfaction, spread his hands and said, Okay, let's choose. I'll give you 10 seconds. Once the 10 seconds are up, the second option will be selected by default. The women were extremely frightened. As soon as Lin Fan finished speaking, he shouted in panic. The first type. The first one, we choose the first one. Yes, we choose the first option and we will follow you. If only it had been like this, one less person would have died. Lin Fan sneered. Looking at these women, Lin Fan felt disdain in his heart. These women belonged to the category of donkeys, and they would be beaten away without being led away. Wang Ziwen was tormented in her heart. After all, she could not bear the 10-second countdown to death. After 10, when the seconds were about to run out, he whispered. I choose the first option, I don't want to die. Tisk tisk. Shaking his head, Lin Fan joked. I thought you would rather die than surrender for the sake of freedom. Unexpectedly, you chose the first option, which made me look forward to it in vain. Isn't it the same whether you choose early or late? He had to be careful and even killed an innocent person. Lin Fan's words were like knives piercing Wang Ziwen's heart. She almost collapsed. The men around her were frightened. When they heard Lin Fan's words, they all looked at Wang Ziwen angrily, as if she had done something. It's the same as a heinous thing. Appreciating the expressions of everyone present, Lin Fan felt it was ironic. It was clearly him who committed the murder, but these men chose to put the blame on Wang Ziwen out of fear. Strength. What if, without strength, you will be like these people in this doomsday? Life and death are all controlled by other people's thoughts. Human life in the doomsday is as worthless as grass. Go get your things. You have 10 minutes. Meet here in 10 minutes. The women glanced at Lin Fan in fear and moved away one after another. Faced with the resentful and hateful eyes of the men, Wang Ziwen felt bitter in her heart, but she didn't know what to say. She should be considered a traitor now, right? She had clearly treated these people before. That's great. Lin Fan didn't wait long, and these women didn't dare to make Lin Fan wait any longer. They all came out in less than 5 minutes. Everyone gathered together with some simple changes of clothes. Everyone came together. Lin Fan waved his hand, and 9 women including Wang Ziwen floated into the air and quickly disappeared. After Lin Fan left, the remaining 7 men all collapsed on the ground, their faces pale and sweating profusely. It was dripping wet, as if he had run for several kilometers. Lin Fan was not interested in knowing what would happen to these men in the future. They should not live long. How long could a bunch of courageless trash, who didn't even dare to go out to find food, live? Such people would be killed. His hands are dirty, so he might as well turn into a zombie so that he can get experience and points after killing him. They flew back to the hospital with 9 women. Looking down from a high altitude, Zhao Yanyan and Li Siki were cleaning up zombies at the entrance of the hospital, working extremely hard. Farther away, on the planned wasteland, Lin Yu was directing several women to take turns plowing the ground with hoes. A group of women were sweating like rain. Some were plowing the ground, some were watering, and some were scattering seeds. Everything was on track. Looking at these pictures, Lin Fan nodded and brought 9 women directly to Lin Yu. Lin Yu had sensed Lin Fan's aura a long time ago. Seeing Lin Fan coming down with a group of women, Lin Yu took a few steps to meet him. "My lord, you are back." Nodding, Lin Fan pointed. Wang Ziwen and others behind him said, "This is what I gained from going out this time. You can make arrangements for me, and I will leave first." Leaving the 9 women behind, Lin Fan left the hospital again, leaving no trace behind. When necessary, Lin Yu is better than him at dealing with those women. His task is to keep bringing women back to increase the population of the force. After Lin Fan left, Lin Yu looked at Wang Ziwen and others in front of her and said indifferently, "Since you have been brought back by the Lord, you should understand your current status. Now you have 2 choices." With that, Lin Yu pointing to a group of women who were immersed in farming, he said, "First, like them, they are responsible for a series of tasks such as farming and cleaning every day, and their status belongs to the lowest level. Second." Lin Yu pointed to the fence around the hospital. "Have you seen those zombies? Your task is to pick up weapons and fight zombies. If you have a higher status, your living conditions will also be better. No matter which one you choose, you can have enough food and clothing. The premise is that you work hard. Whether it is farming or killing zombies, it is the same. If someone is lazy and I find out, you cannot bear the consequences. Here, no one will force you to accompany a man, you can resolve it yourself if necessary." After explaining the rules, looking at the 9 women in front of him, Lin Yu said, "Choose." The women looked at the group of women farming on the ground, and then at the zombies on the other side of the fence. Each of them looked bitter. They had never done such heavy work in farming, and they didn't dare to kill zombies. But compared to those scary zombies, these women are more willing to do non-dangerous things like farming. I choose the first one. I also choose the first option." "Me too." Listening to the choices of the women around her, Wang Ziwen shook her head. Compared with these women, she would rather kill zombies. It's not like she has never killed zombies before. Some choices, once made, are difficult to change. When these women get used to a stable life, even if they have the lowest status, they will never choose to kill zombies, even if their status as female warriors will be higher. "I choose the second option. I want to fight zombies." Wang Ziwen said her choice. Among the 9 people, only she chose the second option. After the women finished choosing, Lin Yu nodded and waved to the farmland, with a smile on her face. The earthly woman trotted over and said respectfully, "My lord, please give me your orders. Take the 8 of them to the dormitory to settle down, and then go out to farm together." "Yes, my lord." Without even looking at the girls, Lin Yu focused on Wang Ziwen and said calmly, "Follow me." Wang Ziwen didn't dare to refute. Lin Yu's eyes made her feel indescribable fear. She limped behind Lin Yu. Wang Ziwen walked very hard. Lin Yu didn't wait for her at all. She just being able to endure the discomfort and chase after her. In the ward, Lin Yu took the gauze and bandaged Wang Ziwen again, stood up and looked at Wang Ziwen sitting on the chair, and said in a calm tone, "You need to rest for a few days and wait for the wound to scar. I will send someone to deliver weapons to you. During this period, your rations will be distributed according to those maids who farm. Someone will take you to the female warrior's dormitory after a while. You are very dirty. Just wipe it with a towel dipped in water. Don't let the wound get infected. Recuperate well. As long as you work hard, the Lord will not treat you badly." Soon, Wang Ziwen was left alone in the ward. Looking at the empty door, Wang Ziwen looked blank. There were too many things that happened today, so much that she couldn't even react. From now on, am I someone else's maid? Sighing, Wang Ziwen accepted her fate. Here, after leaving the hospital, Lin Fan returned to the crossroads where he found Wang Ziwen and the others, and continued to search aimlessly. He had already mapped out the search scope, with the hospital as the center. 10 kilometers in 4 directions, southeast, northwest, and after these 10 kilometers have been searched, we can continue to expand the area. By then, the hospital should have a lot of people, right? By then, it will not just be cleaning up zombies through fences, but using the hospital as the center began to clean up and create a true safe zone. Within 10 kilometers, it is the pure land.